Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. So, kind of started off, I think, as a joke. I mean, the people, everybody thought it was a joke, but I'm sure in the beginning it wasn't intended to be a joke. The joke was just the way to kind of ease into what is seriously going on, and what that is we're watching the North American Union be formed. This is something that for 20 plus years, I mean, well, more than 20 years, 30 some years, has been talked about. In fact, you can go back into the 60s and the 70s and you can find references to some type of union being made between the countries of North America. And well, we're kind of watching it happen, and I don't really think it's a good thing. Donald Trump it was kind of like out of left field. Wasn't mentioned on the campaign trail at all. And then all of a sudden he's talked about making Canada part of the United States, making Greenland part of the United States, Panama, at least the canal there, and who knows, Mexico will probably be next. He's talked about a soft invasion of Mexico. This is, I'm pretty sure he's all serious about it. I think it's something to be thinking and talking about. I've seen it said, I'm not 100% saying I agree with this, but it's definitely something to entertain, that when the New World Order is fully formed, is Donald Trump going to be the Western Hemisphere ruler? I mean, will they break it up? Because, you know, I mean, if there's some big New World Order global union, you're going to have regional leadership and stuff. Donald Trump been designated as the kind of the Western Hemisphere leader or something like that. I don't know. But they seem to be quite serious on this. And the talk is that there's already been negotiations and talk being had with the governments in Greenland. In fact, just this morning, I believe it was Donald Trump Jr. Has flown to Greenland to start those conversations. As you know, Justin Trudeau has resigned in Canada. And a lot of people are saying that it's a large part because of this, of Donald Trump pushing for, a new state, and that some of the leadership that may be taking over in Canada are for this. And I see a lot from the Trump supporters, from the MAGA, this cheering, yay, yay, we're going to have a bigger country. Yeah, it's all going to be America. It's awesome. I think people need to stop and think about this. It's setting a very different, potentially dangerous precedent. And I understand that there's resources in Canada. It's a beautiful country. It would help with, immigration, illegals, drugs, things like that. But, we're also taking on all their debt, and they have a lot of debt. They're a very indebted country. We would be taking on, problems. I've always been the type, let me back up. Years ago, let me tell a story, because it's the basis of a lot of how I view things in this regard. I remember a preacher that I knew, and he was not always the popular type of preacher, because he would always talk about how doing missions, foreign ministries and stuff in other countries or in other parts of this country are great for churches to do, but that a church's first priority is to the people living around it, the people within its own community. And if this particular church is raising funds and sending money off to missionaries in Africa or India or China or wherever, or in other parts of this country, but yet they're not making sure the needs are being met in their community, then there's a problem. And I agree with that. As many of you know, it's gotten to be an irritation with some of you. I'm a very big proponent of focusing on the community, the people around you. Do I not care about people in other parts of the country? No, of course not. I just think that it's wrong of me and it's wrong of the people around me to put all of our attention on someone else when there's people that need help here. Now, if things are going good here, if we're not, having any emergencies, anything going on that, people that are doing good, and then we choose to help other people, that's fine. But I believe that our primary focus should be right here, where I'm at, for me. And for you, it's wherever you're at. And so taking that on a bigger scale, if we're taking on Greenland and we're taking on Canada and potentially Mexico, because I think that would just be naturally next on the list, we're also taking on their problems. We're going to try to fix all this situation, while here in the United States already there's a lot of problems. I saw this week that homelessness is the highest it's ever been in the United States. If you look at all the statistics, like purchasing a car, purchasing a home, the numbers, poll numbers of how people just feel about their futures, how they feel about the economy, none of it's good. There's obviously a rot in this country. And we're taking on other countries, we're taking on other problems. I don't think this is a good idea. And I'm speaking of only a few things that is bad about this. There's a lot more. We're setting the stage for imperialism, and I think truly this kind of New World Order, Agenda 2030, kind of Great Reset stuff. I think that's exactly what it is. And just because it hasn't been talked about in the recent years of this North American Union and stuff, it is all part of that. I mean, it was the European Union formed, and then almost immediately there was talk about, well, you could do this in North America. You could have a North American Union. There's an Asian Union. There's a Middle Eastern Union. And some of them are stronger and more cohesive than others. But these are things that are being done. Joe Biden was actually part of this. He signed the Declaration of North America. A lot of people at the time, a year or two ago, including myself, talked about this and believed that it was kind of like the United States' Declaration of Independence, that this Declaration of North America, and it had Canada and Mexico involved in it, was similar, that it was starting the process of a North American Union. And I talked about that, like I said, a year or two ago when that happened. And then now we have Donald Trump getting ready to take office. And before he's even gotten into office, it's almost like he's just about worked out this deal that somehow Canada is going to be part of the United States. There's been talk of, over the last few weeks, of people meeting in Mar-a-Lago, talking about how this process would work, how they could negotiate this deal. Would it be more of a union between the two countries, a closer union with a unified currency, or would Canada actually just flat out become another state of the United States, or a territory, or something like that? The same thing with Greenland. Like I said, Donald Trump Jr. is there today negotiating this deal. I don't think this is a good idea, folks. The campaign promises that were said, it's almost like they're not being talked about now. Even the whole end the war. End the war. We're going to end the war in the first 24 hours. And now it's like, well, we feel that there's a good chance that he could negotiate the end of the war. Well, wait a minute. The last few days, it's also being talked about of Israel and the United States attacking Iran and taking out their nuclear sites. There's an article I read this morning that the Donald Trump's advisors have been showing him pretty strong evidence that Iran's nuclear capability program is moving along much faster than they believed before, and that Donald Trump is siding with this idea of preemptively striking Iran. That's another war being started. People need to wake up. This is serious stuff. We're watching. For years, most of you have talked about and read things about and been, kind of maybe not obsessed, but really involved in learning about the new world order that's coming upon us, right? And I truly believe now, I think the Biden administration was paving the way for it. And I think that new world order, whatever stuff, is going to start happening now, because the type of person and presidency that Donald Trump is, I think it would be much more likely to happen anyways. This bringing together of countries and nations, people. We're going to see some major changes, and I don't think they're all going to be good, folks. You can absolutely bitterly hate me for saying these things. Many of you do. But I don't think I'm incorrect in the things that I'm saying. Need to be seriously getting prepared, because I think over the next few years we're going to see changes that we never thought we would ever see in our lives. Need to be getting your houses in order and preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.